And we're back.
I know it's only been 2 days since the vlog came out, but hey ho, I couldn't fit this in last week's vlog.
And now I'm going to do a bit of a plot tour because we have got a lot of things that we want to get done this afternoon, but I want to do the tour before we kind of move some stuff around because that's kind of part of what we want to do moving forward. So I want to just look at what we've got right now, beginning of the 4th year of us being on YouTube, and yeah, just see what we've got because it's April. Which is quite an exciting time on the allotment. It's just before things really start kicking off. So what day is it today? It is the 7th of April. Yeah, because although we do have some stuff out, obviously I planted out the sweet peas this morning and that kind of stuff, and we got the peas in, put the onions out. A lot of this stuff is things which has been in over winter, and it's only now that we're going to start pulling that stuff out. And oh, the sun's gone in. Pulling that stuff out and then really getting the new season stuff in. So I think now is the right moment to do an April plot tour. Let's do it.
First thing on display is a mum wondering where the sunshine has gone. But yeah, apple trees right outside the front of the shed. They're just about to burst into flower. Look at that, absolutely covered in bud, which is joyous. So there's this one, which is the big one, and then there's a smaller ballerina type behind. Under here we've got the garlic chives, we've got the canaliculatus, which unfortunately is blind. We've got no flowers on it at all this year. The mint is all coming back, which is a beautiful sight. And in the back there we've got loads of like summer flowering white bulbs, which should come up through the mint and look really gorgeous. We chose white because this area here is really shady when that oak tree gets its leaves. The only bit that really gets the sunshine is the magnificent swing seat that gets a full morning blast of sun. So that's absolutely beautiful, and which is why we've got the Akebia quinata growing under here, the chocolate vine looking beautiful and smelling amazing, but it copes really well with the shade, as do these auricula, although we've just transplanted them from outside the greenhouse because I found these stool legs, so we've stuck some pots in them. We've got a couple of them to go. And there's also a jasmine under here, which is just coming back into leaf. I've got to wind that back into the fence actually because it's gone a bit wayward. But yes, this is what we look like at the beginning of April. It's not too shabby. I mean, this bit's shabby, to be honest. I haven't done anything about sorting out these pots, have I, Lil? Got to pull all these pots out and fix up that potting bench because it's got a bit wibbly wobbly in the winter wind. God, that was a lot of W's. The mulberry bush buds are swelling, which is exciting. A lot of the daffs are over now, like this one, but it's kind of being taken over by the marvellousness of tulips. Look at that one. It's absolutely stunning. This is something that we got done over the winter, one of many jobs, most of which I didn't get done, but this is one I did. Our wood collection is now looking snaz, got it all in sort of size order, etc. Mum has been working on curating this particular exhibition. We've also got a couple of the potatoes in pots growing around the corner. Let's have a nose in the greenhouse. It's actually looking pretty chipper in here. We have got the beetroot, it's coming along nicely. We have got spring onions looking beautiful. There is Valmain lettuce here. We've got Beata chard, Rosso lettuce. Not much has happened there. I don't know if a slug has been involved in that, but it's not looking too hot. Leeks, very sporadic germination. My rocket is obviously in dire need of a drink, whoopsie daisy. Here we have got turnips, both purple and white, and then we've got parsley, so little leaf and big leaf parsley. We have got leeks, more leeks over here, looking lush. Absolutely nothing's happened in my Zabrun box, which I'm very sad about. Nipper leeks in the back corner there, and then we have got peppermint chard, more lettuces. And this is supposed to be rocket, but I appear to have some chard in there too, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but hey ho. Brassica selection, we've got kaleets, red cabbage, Brussels sprouts and kohlrabi in that tray. And then we've got the second wave of peas. They are all coming up looking particularly fine. I've also got two cheat things here, you know, things I've bought. I've got some radicchio because I can never get it going, and also some celeriac because I had a bit of a mishap with my celeriac sowing. In fact, it's in here. This is my Cavallonero plus celeriac, a rather double sowed plonker. And more chard, obviously more chard. But yeah, that is the situation in the greenhouse at the moment. We also have got the very early Red Duke of York potatoes that we're growing in pots, and this is a goji berry that I haven't found a spot for outside yet, and this is my Cranberry maritima, so my sea kale, which I have never eaten, but I love it. The leaves are just so like rubbery and chunky. We're back to the sun being in again. It's grey outside. Hey Lil, grey again. Back out into the open air, and first bed along this trail are the potatoes. This is Red Duke of York and Home Guard, and I've got this mesh on is to stop anything digging them up, like they did with me onions earlier. So you can see they are just emerging above ground. Beautiful little things. That Red Duke of York with that. Oh, hello, Lil.
Hey Lil, I'm just doing the potatoes, dear. Just doing the potatoes.
Every time I crouch down, she races over. But yeah, the potatoes, those Red Duke of York, with amazing purple foliage when they come up. Hey, Lil, I had a beautiful purple foliage. Huh? Can you get off my potatoes, please? Also looking pretty snaz at the moment are the garlics. Look at this. You know, I'm growing garlic in pots this year because of all of the allium problems that we've got in the beds. We've got the white rot and we've also got allium leaf miner. The shallots are splitting really nicely, which is good. I mean, these are uncovered, so they're not going to be protected from allium leaf miner, but really it's the white rot which is the major problem. Just turns them to mush and then they're totally unusable. I really need to get some grass seed down here. This is the area where we're supposed to be having barbecue and swing seat and drinks and all the rest of it. At the moment it is a wood pile store and a bit of a mud pit. But my chives are looking marvellous. And there's a little bit of rocket on the end here, stray rocket. I haven't got anything in the other side yet, but it's going to be herbs as well. Can't have anything too tall because it'll get got by the barbecue. Moving up from the entertainment area, Lily is showing off the asparagus bed. So we've got no raised beds here, it's just asparagus straight in the ground. This is our old bed. It's been going for about, gosh, maybe 8 years, and the asparagus in here is really strong. We've also got these garlic chives on the edge, and we're going to be moving the strawberries out of this bed into the asparagus bed so that we've got better use of the space, because the asparagus is only really pickable for maybe 6 weeks of the year, and then if we can double up the space as strawberries and asparagus, that just makes better use of the space. We are then going to move the perennial brassica bed to this one. Seems we lost the 9-star, seemed like we could move it about now is a good time. Muscari looking stunning. The new asparagus bed, that is going to have beans in the end of it in the summer. This is the cage that we're going to move because we've lost almost everything in there. It's just the right time. Look at this. One of the tree cabbages is absolutely covered in aphids already. Doesn't bode well. I'm actually, when I move this, I'm going to leave this one in here as like sacrificial and hope that the ladybirds come in as an army. This one's absolutely fine. That is the other tree cabbage. So we're going to try and move that one. But all of these guys, the 9-star, gone. Absolutely gone. But at least it means we can move the cage, because this turned out to not actually be the most convenient spot for it. We've got leeks and field beans in the next bed up. The leeks are still looking good. We're munching our way through them slowly. And the field beans, we've been eating them as well. Actually, the end of this bed has become a bit of a nursery bed for my marigolds. These are the calendula, self-seeded, all coming up from here, from this plant here, which I left to go to seed. So I'll let them get a bit bigger and then I will put them on. We've also got the charming bindweed in here. Look at this. I'll have to get digging on that. And then this is the next weed that we've got that's awful. It's called common blue sow thistle. And it's a nightmare. It spreads through its roots like the bindweed, but also through seed. And look at this is our neighbour's plot. He's like putting in some effort to try and get rid of it, but he's left this plot for 2 years and it's just gone mental. And unfortunately, it's also gone mental on our side of the fence. Bit of a pest. That bed's completely clear now, so that is probably going to be where we're growing our excess tomatoes this year, because excess tomatoes we have a lot of. Let's have a look in the fruit cage. Mum has been clearing this path. Look at that. It's immaculate. She's been weeding like crazy in here and it looks really fantastic. The red currant and black currant, this is the black currant, are looking really, really healthy. The red currant that I thought had keeled over in the 40-degree heat is all coming back to life, looking marvellous. So that's pretty exciting. This is the loganberry, that's survived too. That's going to grow up and along the fence. The gooseberries are actually looking really, really healthy, and this is after I gave them a really big chop back, and look, they're all flowering. Beautiful. I love gooseberry flowers. They're really, really subtle and they're almost like wax flowers. They're really pretty little things, but they're quite difficult to spot. Look, there's a little one under there too. Look. Can we focus? Yes. Beauty. Raspberries are all bursting back into life, which is encouraging. And the grapevine, which is above them, desperately needs a bit of work, but it is also showing signs of life, which is a comfort, but it has exploded out the top of the fruit cage and I need to chop it right back. I'm supposed to be training this really carefully along like 2 bands at the top of the cage, but never mind. We've also got quite a lot of space in here, and I think we're going to put the sweet corn back in here as badger protection this year. Seems we've got the space. Next year we probably won't have the space because we're going to get quite a few more fruit bushes in. Poor old Berta needs a lot of help. She needs a makeover, she needs just a bit of a rescue. That's the wood that I'm going to remake the potting bench with, so that's all sat there getting ready. And we've got the most beautiful spring flowers up here underneath the apricot and the fig. These hyacinths have just naturalised, and I love the way they get really sparse when they naturalise. You just get these beautiful like bluebells. They are stunning. And this, the frit, love it. One of my favourite flowers. Oh, the beauty of it, it is just a joy. Those little purple checkerboard, oh, I just love it. And now, apricots.
We lost a lot of that blossom, a lot of it, particularly the stuff that came out early, so sort of flowered lower down earliest, and all of that got wiped out. I mean, can I see any? I think most of it's blown off now. But there was loads and loads of like flower stumps, you know, like the bases that just hadn't been pollinated, and they're all gone. However, I have had a really good look around, and I've seen at least 4 or 5 on the lower branches that have been pollinated. There's a little apricot inside them. So I'm hoping that way up high, because actually the trees got really quite big, I'm hoping that higher up quite a few of them will have been pollinated, because they kind of all flowered at that sort of time. So it's just big fingers crossed. I'm going to see if I can find one that's pollinated to show you.
Okay, so the flowers, when they aren't pollinated, they go brown, and they've got like a little tail that comes right out the centre of them. And if that tail goes brown and crispy, it hasn't been pollinated, and it is a dead goose. However, if they are nice and green when the petals disappear, like that one, you've got an apricot. Woo! So I've got that one there, and then yeah, there should be, I think I saw one up here. That's another one that's coming along. Woo! Fig tree is looking good, healthy. It is just starting to form some leaves, which is nice, and it's got these little peppercorn figs on it, which is lovely. The daffs under this are just so sweet. This is the little thalia, pure beauty. And these ones are really interesting. They should just be a plain yellow, but they've got some sort of virus, so they go all like white and yellow streaky, which I think is a bit of an improvement. I think they're lovely. Under this Enviromesh box, we've had this green wave mustard growing and these pak choi for the whole winter, and they have been happy as Larry. You can see that the pak choi is now going to seed, but we have been eating it basically since, well, all winter, which has been very impressive. And although it is going to seed, it's still really soft underneath, and you can see it's got like proper chunky stems. This was the red one. That one went to seed really, really early, although look how beautiful those flowers are. But yeah, we are still pak choi rich in April, which is pretty nice. Bay tree in desperate need of a haircut. The leaf mould bin is full, which is a bit of a joy. The camellia is actually looking really healthy this year. Look how glossy it is, and it's covered in bees, which is beautiful. My sambucus coming back into leaf. Beautiful thing. I've got to get back on the sambuca again this year. I faded out a bit last year, but I'm going to get back on it this year. Compost bin is satisfyingly full. Been just chucking all of the excess growth. We're going to be doing a lot of clearing over the next couple of months, and it's all going to go into here. I need to turn the bins actually, because we've just got so much stuff coming. We've also, this is the sweet pea tops that I cut off when I was planting the sweet peas out. We've also got a ton of rhubarb, where we dug out the rhubarb. We obviously threw in a load of roots into the compost bin that we hadn't realised, so we now have compost rhubarb as well. But this bin needs to be turned into the other 2 bins so that we can start refilling this one slowly. So look at this. So much blossom. It's because it's been so windy. And just above this end of the plot, we have got a cherry tree. It's not on our plot, it's just on the other side of the school, but we just get covered in the white blossom, which is rather lovely. Yes, I need to empty that. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I need to empty that bin into the other 2 bins, and then we're ready to start refilling. Second bed down on the top here, we've actually got turnips that are left over from last year. Everything else in this bed has pretty much been cleared, except that there's a couple of spring onions in the end here. This is the lilia that didn't really do anything last year, and they seem to be trying now. These are the turnips. So although the turnips themselves have gone really woody and we're not eating them, we are eating their sprouting tops, which are utterly scrum. So they were definitely worth leaving in. The flower bed, we've got one of the raised beds that's set over to flowers, and some of these tulips are looking beautiful. I'm going to look at the colours on that. They're all about to burst as well. There's loads of them just budding up. But the bit that I'm worried about is the dahlias. It's just been so cold. I mean, look at that one. Look at that. Love them. But yeah, the dahlias I'm really worried about. Normally we don't have a problem with them at all, but this year it was just so wet and so cold. I fear there's not going to be much left under the ground, which will be a real shame. So we're going to have to do quite a lot of work on this bed, sadly. And there's another one just coming out the bottom here. Isn't that lovely? I love the white ones where they get those little dark purple stems. They are joy. But yeah, this whole strip of the plot is just looking lovely with the pear tree and its little daffs underneath and the white confetti everywhere. But look at this pear. This is our conference pear. I've got very, very high hopes to get some pears this year. Look at that. That looks to me like fertilised flowers. I'm really, really optimistic. I really would love to get some pears. And underneath, the daffs seem to be lasting much better up this end of the plot. I think it's just that bit cooler. But yeah, beautiful chaps. Carrot box also covered in confetti, but we got the carrots. We've got 2 rows of carrots and 2 rows of coriander sown in there. Nothing emerging yet, but hopefully soon. Next to them is the rhubarb. So we had some of this covered up as forcing, but we've uncovered the whole lot now, and you can see it's just recovering from where it was denied light, but the rest of it's looking really healthy, and we've been eating a lot of rhubarb cake recently. I've chopped the buddleia back. We have got foxgloves and things in here. The honeyberry, which I'd forgotten we even planted, is looking really lush. So that's pretty handy. I'd completely forgotten about it. We also have a red currant, like a sacrificial red currant along this side, which is our old one, that is actually far in advance of the one in the fruit cage because it's flowering. But we leave that one for the birds. We don't tend to get anything off that ourselves. Pond is looking gorgeous. We've lost the gunnera that we had planted on the edge. It was just too cold for it. It's rotted out. There's nothing left in there at all. And we've got loads of tadpoles and newts in here. So let me just see if I can get in there and show you, although that just looks like a reflection of me. Not very handy, sorry about that. Let's see if I can get round the other side because there's loads of them in there. Just see. Can you see those? Little tiny chaps, those long strings of toad spawn have all hatched. So now there's just, yeah, they're all crowded in there. Planted the sweet peas out earlier this week. We've got 2 sentinels on either side of the netting shed. So they should be pretty happy there, I think. We're going to be planting a lot of wildflowers all the way up this side. But yeah, it's looking really, really pretty. Mum's been doing an amazing job on the weeding front up this edge and in the fruit cage, like I said. But yeah, it just looks gorgeous. American cress that I'm letting go to seed. You can see that's coming along quite nicely. This has been a raging success this year, so I'm hoping for good times next year too. We've got spinach under that cloche and the broadbeans that I have infilled, so you can see the difference in size between the ones that actually survived the cold winter and the new ones that I planted alongside, but hopefully they'll even themselves out. It's interesting to see, like in this context, how much tougher the field beans are, even though they're such a similar plant, how much tougher the field beans are compared to the this variety of broadbean that I've grown, which was the agua dulce, which is supposed to be quite a tough one, but so many of these perished in the cold, and the field beans, we didn't have a single loss. So, nothing going on in this bed apart from we have a bit of lamb's lettuce in the end, which is just going over. It's just starting to flower, and I'll probably leave that for seed. This bed has got nothing in that end, but it has got the miracle Lucullus chard in it that has been under this enviromesh box. Hang on, let me just see if I can balance this on my head so I can show you what's going on under here. But look at the lushness, the joy of this Lucullus, which by all rights should have gone in that cold weather. I mean, we lost the ruby chard, or the rhubarb chard, sorry. This one is normally super soft, and it completely survived everything under this enviromesh. So yeah, newfound respect for enviromesh. This bed is an absolute shambles. Should have had all sorts in there. Most of them got eaten out by slugs or birds really early in the year. We have got this one purple sprouting on something that's about 3 inches tall, and it should have been 3 feet tall.
Not exactly impressive stature, is it?
But other than that, there's sort of 6 red cabbages in the end here, which do look like they've survived. So it's not a complete waste, but I'm just going to clear the rest of it. Outside the polytunnel, so between the polytunnel and the netting shed, we have got the Cox's orange pippin, which quite a lot of it's died back, but it's mostly wildflowers. I haven't sown any more this year, but we've got bits and pieces coming up. We have got lickness under here, and we've got love in the mist. Oh, we've also got a lot of weeds. Let me just nip that one out. But yeah, love in the mist. We have got that's some verbena coming up there. There are poppies popping up all over the place. There's also a lot of Californian poppies, so it should be a bit of a riot. And I'll be throwing some more seed in here anyway, because I saved some from last year, so we'll just top it up and hope for the best. Sage is coming up good. That suffered a bit over the winter, as did the oregano, but that's coming up really nicely. It's looking lush and beautiful. We've got a couple of chives under here too, but they're struggling against this hyssop, which has just gone mental. It's just like a bit of a mop. So I'm going to try chopping that one right back. This is supposed to be a herb bed, but that is a sedum that's not a herb, but it was a rescue. Loads of calendula seedlings in the back there, which I'm going to transplant. Rosemary, thyme. I love where this thyme is, because it's right where you come in the gate and you kick it when you walk through, and then the smell is just This was the first lot of peas that we got out. They are looking super happy. Yeah, they didn't mind being put out at all. Sometimes peas get a bit of a shock, but these ones seem absolutely chipper. These are, in the background there, you can see the field beans. Like I said, we haven't lost any of them. They are tough as old boots. Also incredibly tough, this leaf chicory, which chopped back. When did I chop that back? At the end of the winter, because it was looking really sad. And now we've got all this lovely, lush new growth, which we will be eating with anchovies and spaghetti ASAP. A blown single kohlrabi in the middle of the bed there. I love the flowers of the kohlrabi because they're like an acid green with these beautiful, like almost reddish purple stems. They're just beautiful. I really don't need to keep that in the bed, but it's just lovely. And it's keeping the beetroot company, which is, oh God, under here. This has been there all winter, just with this little cloche over the top of it, and it has survived perfectly. And in fact, they're just starting to produce nice fresh new leaves for salad. So that's handy. These cloches are a bit excellent, really. The wonderful, marvellous, long-serving Cavolo Nero is coming to an end. Still got loads of leaf on there, but the flower sprouts that we've been eating non-stop, you can see these ones, they've just stopped producing. They are at an end. There's still a couple of bits and pieces on there, but generally now we'll just pull out these stick by stick and strip the leaves and just eat what's left and clear the bed. Also got some spring cabbages in there, which seem to have survived. I hadn't realised I planted them, so that's excellent. We have a mum heading towards the shed, I think, for a cup of coffee. This is the perpetual spinach, which looked really, really sad after the winter, but it's come back brilliantly strong, so we're eating that now. And in the end of this bed, we have got sorrel, which is growing like a rate of knots. It's pushing the cloche up. Do you think we might need to remove that cloche? Do you think it's too big for the cloche? Yeah, I know, girlies. I know. It's a bit big, isn't it? It's got very feisty in the rain and the sunshine. Yeah. And then we've got the onion bed, which, as you know, I've been planting out my pink panthers, and I've got 3 other varieties in here, and I just planted a load of radish at the end, girlies, didn't I? Radish. Yeah, so that, chaps, is the plot tour for the beginning of April 2023. We have got a lot of things to do over the next month and a half or so. I'm hoping for asparagus soon, because it should be up now, but it's been so cold. Hey Lil, it's not going to help if you're squashing it like that. No, it's not going to grow through a Lil. It's not. No, pussycat, it's not. She is a beautiful pussycat. Loving the sunshine, huh? Loving it. Right, my Monday clubbers, I will see you on next Monday, and for everybody else, I will see you on Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I hope this sunshine lasts, because it's heaven. It's heaven. Cheers, chaps.